The NDP Policy Convention is wrapping up in Hamilton today. A live look there in Hamilton, where members have gathered and discussed several issues, one of them being the conflict in the Middle East. It took a center stage in the discussions. Here to give us his thoughts on the convention is CTV's political commentator, Reid. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. So no surprise here, one of the major topics being discussed at the convention was the conflict that we're seeing in the Middle East. What was discussed?
Well, they had a number of potential resolutions. So I really think for the NDP, success meant coming out of this weekend in the news not being about Israel. But I think they were really trying, the organizers of the convention, to stage manage it, knowing this issue would come up, knowing that it was divisive. It's in the home riding of the provincial member. Sarah Jama, of course, issued the controversial statement, more than controversial statement, statement that has roundly been condemned and has led to demands from Marit Stiles that she be removed from their caucus. So they knew Israel, the Palestinian conflict, the Hamas war, and terrorist attacks were going to arise. But unfortunately for the NDP, it really took center stage. It really overwhelmed when you had a protest, pro-Palestinian protest, interrupted the leader's speech. And, you know, frankly, that's going to be the news and the memory coming out of this convention for Jagmeet Singh. And
this was something that they were trying to avoid and not to make the news in this way.
Because if you look at the way they orchestrated the convention, I think they deserve high points. They recognized that this was a divisive issue. They recognized that there's a real challenge of anti-Israeli voices in tradition within the NDP. And so they were trying to manage it. A small number of resolutions on this question, keep the debate somewhat limited, get to a place where they could resolve that issue and keep the focus on pharmacare, which is where they wanted it to be. They wanted to be able to say, we come out of this convention united on the question of pharmacare, united on the question of putting Justin Trudeau's feet to the fire on pharmacare. But unfortunately, the protest did away with all of that, and it kept the entire focus, of course, on this issue of, you know, where does the NDP stand? How much tolerance do they have for anti-Israeli voices? Where are they on this ongoing question, which is only going to intensify as, you know, we probably see some kind of land war happening into Gaza. And so it was not what the NDP wanted, and it was a real challenge that eclipsed so much of the other good and hard work that they had tried to orchestrate.
Let's focus on Jagmeet Singh now. He received 81% support. Some would say that's a great positive feedback. Others saying maybe not so much. What's your take on that?
Yeah, you're going to hear some people with their nose right up to the window pane of politics go, well, 81 is, you know, not really as high as you would like. That tells you that there's some trouble seated in these numbers, that if Jagmeet Singh can't win the next election somehow or radically improve their seat totally, could be in trouble, blah, 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 blah. 81 is big. You and I sit for an exam, we get an 81, we high-five each other, we go for a drink, we tell people we're awesome. So 81 is fine. Jagmeet Singh is safe. He's got all the hand he needs to maintain his caucus, maintain authority over his caucus, and take next steps as he sees fit in terms of the confidence and supply agreement that's propping up the Liberal government.
Okay. And then discussing more issues related here at home, what were some of the main issues that came top to mind outside of the conflict that we're seeing in the Middle East?
I'll return to pharmacare because I think it was so paramount for the NDP when you think about where they're at and what they're trying to define as success. So Jagmeet Singh in his speech was really interesting. He was candidly acknowledging, look, propping up this Liberal government, putting in place this agreement that permits the government to continue on, to live on, that is not an easy thing. He joked openly about how it led to a lot of hard days and tough questions. But pharmacare is at the middle of it. And their argument as a party is if they can use their influence, their position in this minority parliament to get dental care, which looks like it's on track for this December, and then to exact pharmacare, that they will be able to say to Canadians, we achieved things. We did it only, the Liberals did it only because of us. But I mean, really what's going to happen now is we're going to see a showdown because this convention gave Jagmeet Singh, without question, the authority to pull the rug on that agreement unless the Liberals deliver with legislation on pharmacare. And that's going to be the interesting domestic political issue to watch, because if that were to happen, we're into an election. And right now, that's not an election that Justin Trudeau wants because he's far behind in the polls.
All right. CTV's political commentator, Reid, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
You too.